is Aleister Crowley. Their slogan is just do it. Aleister Crowley, the Satanist, his slogan is do what thou wilt, which is the same as just do it. You know where Nike's slogan, just do it, came from? I mean, this is a fact, look it up. Gary Gilmore, double murderer, his last words before being executed, just do it. I'm not making that up. Do the research yourself. That's where Nike came up with its slogan. Gary Gilmore. Norman Mailer wrote a book about Gary Gilmore. I read it, The Executioner's Song. It's one of the best books ever written. Just do it. That's where Nike's slogan came from.
This is a global thing. And you've got, former president of the Trailblazers. He comes forth with this secret that he murdered somebody when he was, a teenager. And I mean, it shocked me, but as I read the Sports Illustrated piece, I kept sort of fumbling through and looking for, hey, where is the passage where he knocks on the door of the family of Edward White, the kid that he killed. It was an 18-year-old. He walked up, he shot him. So where's the passage that says, Larry Miller went and knocked on the door. He told the family, how sorry he was and that he would do everything in his power for the rest of his life to try to make this right. Or he called them and said, hey, I'm writing a book and I want to give you the proceeds. Where is that passage? So it jumped out to me that while he is an example of redemption and that you can do some good with your life if you've done something horrible, there's also something missing here. He skipped a step.
When Nike was debuting new versions of the Air Jordans, they would go into the inner cities and show them to the major drug dealers in the communities first and get the buy-in there. And so when I started trying to think about what Larry Miller's value may have really been to Nike, particularly early on, it may be street connections. I mean, this guy was, and if you know anything about Philadelphia, wow, that's a different place. And, go read up on Marvin Harrison and so I don't feel like I know or understand Larry Miller any better from this story.
That's an interesting focus groups, the Bloods and the Crips. But anyway, with that said.
Reading it, and I listened to you yesterday talking about the man and that he killed somebody, and now he wants to bring it out in the open because he doesn't want the story to leak when he's doing his memoir or whatever. To me, he is using this to just sell a book. The fact that he claims that he has remorse for or that he's felt bad all these years is a crock of crap. I tried to shoot somebody when I was in college. I shot at her the first time, I missed, then I held the gun to her head and pulled the trigger, but the gun jammed. I have not been quiet about that.
Shamika, you've knocked me off of my feet here. I feel like Adam Silver and Phil Knight and all the other people that saying they never knew this about Larry Miller.
In many respects, it's up to just people with some common sense, people who know better. And when you get them, alone, away from the HR directors and away from their bosses and away from social media, they know that the notion that men can get pregnant is crazy. But for some reason, they feel like they have to play along. And we are feeling that pressure more and more in every area of culture, in every area of society. And I'm just to the point where I'm like, I'm not playing along. Because at the end of the day, Jason, I have to be able to look at myself in the mirror. I have to be able to look at my wife and my children in the mirror. And it's hard for me to tell my kids to be courageous and stand for the truth when they see daddy lying in public and in private every day, in order to save his reputation. So I'm willing to plant this flag, and wherever it goes, it goes.
Kyrie Irving stands up as a real man and takes a stance and forces a conversation. All we heard about Colin Kaepernick when this first kicked off with him in 2016, well, you may not like it, but at least he started a conversation. Well, now Kyrie started one, provoked one, demanded that we have a debate about something they're trying to mandate for everybody in America, this is important. This is what men do. And again, I expect Kyrie to fold. There's too much money. There's too much pressure. But I'm still going to stand by the fact I like and respect what the man is doing. He's showing a pair. And he's being a voice for the voiceless.
Communism started in Russia in 1917, and it really controlled Russia up until 1994. And what the Russians did when it was the Soviet Union is if they had dissidents, they would send them off to the gulags in Siberia. And the most famous dissident is Alexander Solzhenitsyn. And they were able to sneak out some of his literature in the early 70s. He won a Nobel Prize. And when they asked him what the average person could do to not go along with communism, to resist in their situations, the average person, he said it all boils down to one thing: live not by lies.
I was raised at 25th Street Baptist Church. My grandmother, Mama Lovey, is it's difficult for me to even say her name. And I made a commitment I wasn't gonna, but anyway, he's talking about me and my failures. 25th Street Baptist Church and the seeds that were planted in me there have defined my life.
I do feel confident in things I say, and I do stand behind what I do. And I like to speak the truth, and I'm not a part of this, woke cancel culture that gets off on trying to silence people all the time.
All of that music to my ears, and I know that Aaron Rodgers in the past has played woke. He played the little BLM game like everybody else did, because you'd get run out of the NFL, or you'd be accused of being racist if you're a white quarterback in the NFL and you didn't play woke and you didn't pretend like the whole Black Lives Matter thing is the most important thing in the world, and that the police are out here just trying to kill random black men, particularly if they're high on fentanyl. Aaron Rodgers just manned up. And we can thank Dave Chappelle for Aaron Rodgers manning up.
You wanted to make sure that, if you were playing today, that you would be there for your team. You couldn't even put on a condom for your team last time. When you was playing, we didn't even the shot. You couldn't even put on a condom.
That was pretty hilarious. Magic, you couldn't even put a condom on. And you talking about protecting the team. You couldn't put a condom on. And you know what's comical, Steve, is Magic Johnson, for a long time, before Tiger Woods, was my all-time favorite athlete. As a kid, I lived and died with Magic Johnson. Ever since he quit playing basketball, every time I turn around, he does something that diminishes my feelings about him as an athlete.
Look, Howard Stern used to be the ultimate renegade. Now he's establishment. He's living in this ivory tower, bitching and moaning about people that don't have the vaccine, and he's not the guy that was in 1993.
How are you packing a pistol at age 18?
Okay, so I was raised in Durham, North Carolina, and when I went away to school, my friend was dating a guy who I said was from Fayetteville, North Carolina, but he was a football player. And I don't know how he got the gun, but he gave it to us, and she was scared to carry it. I wasn't scared, so I started to carry his gun, but it was a 9mm, and to me that was big. And so I liked carrying a gun, but it just didn't fit in my purse well. I don't even know why I liked carrying.
Why did you
a
like
gun.
carrying a gun? Why
I
did
don't
you
know.
like carrying a gun?
Because Dr. Dre said, "Who's the man with a master plan? A nigga with a gun." I don't know. That was during the days of the Chronic and listening to Ghetto Boys. Like you had the song out, I Want a Gangsta Bitch. So just doing what seemed popular or just seemed like the fun thing to do at the time.
I didn't completely grow up like Shamika. I certainly know people who do and did. And I love the way she wrapped up her story with, basically calling us out as Christians to live up to the things we say we believe in and allow people to evolve and move on and still be respectful of them and their life experience and know that they have something to offer the world beyond the trauma that they may have experienced or been involved in. I think Shamika has something important to say, and I think I want myself and this show to help hone her message and to help people understand people that come out of different situations than perhaps the normal or what we perceive as the normal culture and environment.